everyone, I'm here today with a weekly reading wrap up for you, and I finished 2 books this week, which doesn't feel that great, but at the same time I finally finished a great big chunker, so I am happy. The first book I finished this week was an audiobook, and that was Twelfth Night by Shakespeare, and I didn't like this. Now, Twelfth Night is a play that I am very familiar with. I studied it so many times throughout school and read it so many times, and so it's a play that I knew really well. Yet listening to the audiobook I had to slow it right down speed-wise, and even then I was still really struggling to get to grips with it. I thought that maybe since when you watch a film of like a play, or like as you go and see a play, it's easier to follow than reading the book, like reading the play itself. So I thought maybe listening to it would have that same sort of feeling too, but it really didn't. It was hard work. I wouldn't recommend it as a way to listen to a play for the first time. You'd be incredibly lost, I think. Also, I'm not sure that the version that I listened to was necessarily the best. It had a full cast of characters sort of narrating along. I will have the picture of the audiobook specifically that I listened to here, so you can tell which one it was off Audible. But yeah, I mean, it was free, so I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't enjoy this one at all, I'm afraid. I think I gave it 2 stars in the end just because it's Shakespeare, so I didn't want to give it 1 for that, because if I'd have been able to keep up with it properly, it'd have been like 3+ stars. I think that's what I usually rate Twelfth Night. So yeah, that one disappointed me, I'm afraid. So then the second book I finished this week was Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. I am so happy to have finished this, and I gave it 4 stars. This is the second book in the Dark Artifices, which is the 5 billionth book in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So if you've not read a lot of the other books, you need to read those before you read this. And as a result, I'm not going to be able to talk about this in any sort of way on here. But basically the main reason why I gave it 4 stars rather than 5, which doesn't happen for me very often with Cassandra Clare books, is basically it was really too long and dragged out, I felt. Now, I'm not sure where I'd have made the cuts if it was down to me cutting some of this out, but I really do feel that it dragged on a bit too much, and it could have definitely benefited from just a little bit of cutting down. It dragged a little bit for me in places, basically. But this ending, I don't know how I'm even going to cope waiting for the next book to come out. We've got the first book in the next trilogy coming out before the final book in this trilogy, so a long wait, but really enjoyed this one. Took me forever to read. I was hoping I was going to finish 4 books in this wrap up, but 2 I've still got on the go. So right now my current audiobook is The Secret Garden. Absolutely adoring it. It's been so many years since I've read this book, and to have it on audiobook is actually a really wonderful experience. So I'm about just over halfway through that. I'm also currently still reading The Mask of Shadows. Can't remember the author, but the picture will be one of these sides by me. Really enjoying that. I am about 60% of the way through that, and I'm loving it. Audiobook, Kindle book. Not started a physical book yet because I finished that last night, but I am still reading Night Film, so that's what I'm going to be reading for a lot of this week now to get that one done too. I haven't read last week's TBR Bucket Pick yet, but all the same I'm going to pick a new one out because that's my new rule. Got one. I always worry if I'm when I pick 2 up and I flick one back in, whether I'm putting one back that I'm going to regret missing out on reading anytime soon. And typical of the time when I've not got anything by me to look this up, I picked out Anomaly, which is from Scrodinger's, I can't even say that word, I'm really bad at saying that word, Consortium, by Tonya Cooper. And I know this is part of a series off the top of my head. I can't remember whether this is one of the first books or whether it's further on in the series. So the cover will be here. By then I will know what position this book is in this series. And yeah, if it's not the first book, then I will be reading the first however many books to get to this one as well. So yeah, this has potentially pulled me a couple of books out of the TBR bucket, essentially. So yeah, that is it for this weekly reading wrap up. Let me know what you've been reading recently. I would love to know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me just there if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you tomorrow with a book review. Bye bye!